Hello, and thank you for joining us. This is No Soundbites Allowed, and I am your host, Michael Voss, Dragon of the Southern Tier. I'm very happy to be here with you today. Now, we're going to be talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, her current Twitter storm, her social media outreach right now, and the impact that she's trying to make with that, which is very interesting, especially when you put her in context of her own words. But before we get to that, I want to speak about, if you have not been to this program before, we do long-form political commentary. And every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do a live stream with you. That's right. We go on to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, listening to you, looking at your comments and your calls, telling us what you think about the issues of the day that affect us all. And we look forward to hearing from you, not just in the United States, but around the world, hearing our entire audience every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's go forward. We know that at this moment, there is a huge Twitter storm and a huge Instagram reaction to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Oh, I'm sorry. I have the image of her from back in her bartender days up here. No, not just the bartender, but also the Congresswoman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC herself. And she started a storm here because she has revealed that she has had a Me Too incident, that she's had a sexual assault. And because of that sexual assault, well, then we have what's going on in Congress. And these two items are connected, and they are connected absolutely. They are the same, or at least that's how we should feel. That should be our emotion about this, that they are equally the same thing, and you have to believe in both. Now, this is a problem because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, we know, is a socialist. She calls herself a Democratic Socialist, which is a socialist. She is looking to overthrow, to change the United States government from a democratic republic to a socialist government. That is her ultimate goal at the end of the day. And we know that she's made some very strong statements, something that I want to make sure we're very clear on when we listen to her, not only today, but whenever we listen to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And this is from her 60 Minutes interview. And I want to be very explicit because it's from January 6th of 2019. And I want you to hear exactly what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had to say.
One of the criticisms of you is that your math is fuzzy. The Washington Post recently awarded you 4 Pinocchios for misstating some statistics about Pentagon spending.
If people want to really blow up one figure here or one word there, I would argue that they're missing the forest for the trees. I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
It's absolutely important.
That was the 60 Minutes interview with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And let me go back to it just one more time. The key words here is that people should be more concerned not about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct. They should be worried about being morally right. This is important to understand. Your moral position is a personal position. It is your feeling. It is your belief. It has no basis in fact, reality, or truth. Truth is absolute. I know we hear a lot from those on the far left, the members of BLM, of Antifa, of Progressive Leaders of Tomorrow, Indivisible New York. All of these organizations, the far left, they love to say, well, this is my truth, or this is your truth. That's not real. That's not a statement. There is the truth, and then there is your opinion, your feeling, your moral beliefs. But that's not the same thing. Sometimes you can say something that is true and you believe it morally. That's great. But to say that my moral beliefs, my feelings are the same as the truth is a lie. It is a manipulation. It is a way to use my emotions to add weight to something that has no weight. That is just a reality. And yes, we do, and I think we all should be concerned about our elected officials being precise and factual and semantically correct so that we can understand what they are saying, so that we can know that what they're saying is correct, and that we can evaluate what they're saying. These are important things. But that's not what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez believes. She wants to be morally correct. She wants her feelings to be correct. And as long as her feelings are correct, that she believes what she feels, that's all that matters to her in her path to turn America into a socialist state. We have to understand that, to understand everything else about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because it tells us where she's coming from. Now, and this is where the Me Too argument's going to get all insane with me right now. I can see the third, fourth, fifth wave feminists losing their minds. Well, here we go. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez today wants us to believe, and this is where the Instagram and the Twitter lost their minds, because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went onto Instagram and told America and the world that she had a Me Too incident, a sexual assault. And that sexual assault is inextricably connected to the DC riots, where individuals were trying to attack her, where they were trying to destroy her life. They were trying to kill her. And she blames that on Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, senators who she thinks caused this to happen, that they were targeting her. She has said these things, and they are important. And the big thing is, because it was a sexual assault, that is tied to the trauma and the DC riots, and therefore it should add weight to that event for us, because that's how she feels, and therefore we should react the way she wants. In fact, if you look at it and you actually were to write it down, this is the logic of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She wants socialism, not a democratic representative government. She has an unverified sexual assault. I'm not saying she was never sexually assaulted, but what we do know is she has never spoken about it before. What we do know is that there are questions. When did this happen? Who did it? Why didn't she file charges? And if it happened at all. She's a politician. Politicians lie. I have no way of knowing whether this happened or not. We also know that it is unverified that the DC riot threat, the threat that she claims on her life, actually happened. No one has verified this. There is no way to know that this actually happened the way she has described it. I mean, if it did happen that way, it was terrifying and people should be persecuted. I do not agree in this channel. We do not agree with anyone who uses fear, intimidation, violence, or the threat of violence to cause others to submit against their will. That has always been true. We are always in that understanding. We reject anyone and denounce anyone who would use those tactics. That's on the left or the right. But we don't know that that's happened. We have Alexandria saying it happened. We have Alexandria saying that Ted Cruz caused this, that Ted Cruz endangered her life. She's changed her story. She's changed her feelings on this several times. We don't know. So it is unverified. We also know that she dislikes the lawful election challenge that was made by Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley. Mind you, this is the same legal challenge that was done in 2001, in 2005, in 2017 by the Democratic Party. Dozens of members of the Democratic Party made legal challenges in 2001, 2005, 2017 that were copied by Senators Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Rand Paul. It is their right, and in fact, their obligation, according to the Constitution, to represent the people that they represent, to make these challenges, whether they go forward or not, because the public has doubt. We've seen in polling that we've presented on this program before, some 40% of America have doubts about the 2020 election because of the irregularities that occurred. Of course, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, her feelings were that this was a good election. Her feeling is that this was a good outcome. Therefore, to object to that is to be wrong, and therefore they must be punished for doing something she doesn't feel. This is a problem. And therefore, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, according to her logic, wants us to remove Senators Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley. And she wants to change the American legal system to further punish Republicans for daring to have opinions and feelings backed by facts and semantics and figures and facts and numbers and math that oppose her point of view. This is important because we've seen that she's using several tactics here to manipulate the American public. She wants sympathy, and she's using the sympathy of what happened with her alleged, and again, it's unverified, so it's an alleged sexual assault. And she wants us to agree with what Democrats said, that you believe all women always, except if they're Tara Reade making an accusation against Joe Biden for sexual assault. Then that woman isn't to be believed, but all other women are supposed to be believed, especially if they're Democrats. I'm sorry, there's too many exclusions here. There's too many loopholes here. This is too much basis on feelings and political advantages. Either you believe all women at all times, and therefore Tara Reade is a sexual assault victim, and therefore Joe Biden should be resigning, or you don't believe that. And I know that this is the case because that's what Kamala Harris said before she changed her opinion. Kamala Harris called out Joe Biden and said he was a rapist before she decided to work for him and become his vice president. Again, political advantage seems to be in play here for the Democratic Party. So you can say, well, did Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez become sexually assaulted? Maybe. I don't know. I don't actually care in this case. You know, if it happened, it's a terrible thing. She should prosecute or should have prosecuted if that were the case. But see, that's why she went to Instagram. Because if she actually did this in an interview, if she was actually talking to a member of the press, even the Democratic press, which is the majority of the news media, they would have to ask the follow-up question, when did this happen? Why didn't you file charges? Who did it? Important factual questions. But Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez doesn't believe in facts. She believes in feelings. So are we to understand, based on her logic, as she herself said, that her feelings are more important. So if she felt like she was a sexual assault victim, then therefore she must be. Which means the facts may not actually back that up. Which is why she went to Instagram rather than going to the news media and to answer questions. But she wants you to use that emotion, that feeling, that Me Too movement to back up her belief, her feelings about the DC riots. And again, we don't know what happened there. We again denounce anyone who would threaten any elected official or any human being. That's not right. But at the same time, that doesn't give Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or any Democrat or any member of Congress carte blanche to just accuse people of something that they may not have done, to take advantage of a very emotional and chaotic situation and say, well, this happened, so you have to believe me, even though no one saw it and there's no proof of it. I'm sorry, I have to take it with a grain of salt, a very big grain of salt, especially when I know that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has told us she is willing to lie. If you are willing to put your feelings above the facts if you're willing to use your feelings to excuse being semantically incorrect, which means miswording your words or using your words in a way that would mislead people and to not be precise, well, then you're telling me you're willing to lie. That is saying you're willing to lie. And if you're willing to lie, I can't believe everything you say as you say it. I need proof. I need something to back that up. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez offers us nothing. She offers us an Instagram video where she says whatever she wants, the way that she wants, without ever verifying it, without ever answering a question about it. That should trouble everyone. That should trouble everyone in America. Because this is important. She's using the emotions of every woman and every person who disagrees with sexual assault, including this channel. And she wants us to funnel that anger, that justified anger against sexual assault, and channel that and use it against rioters, which, as far as we can tell, no one was being sexually assaulted because of the DC protests and the riots, which were comprised of individuals on the right and left of the political spectrum. And that we should channel this energy against them for their riotous actions and punish two senators for doing their job, their constitutional job, as done and following the example of the Democratic Party 3 times. And this is all coming from an individual who expressly wants to destroy the American system and replace it completely. I would have, this isn't a pound of salt. This is a truckload of salt being backed up and dumped in front of you. I can't say it's unbelievable. It's not credible. And yet people are falling all over themselves to say, this is horrible, that they are trying to silence her. No one's trying to silence her. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is one of the most famous, most well-known congresswomen and congress member in decades. She can go on to any news media outlet that she would like and can speak at length. She can call a press conference in 30 seconds and the media will show up and cover everything she has to say. But she will also be asked questions. Or at least we would like to believe that the left-leaning media would ask her at least a few questions to back up at least part of what she's saying. But that's not what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez believes. She made her mistake once. She went on 60 Minutes and she told us that she doesn't believe in the truth. She believes in her feelings. And her feelings are more important than her truth or her oath to the American people. She has an objective. She has a goal. She's not just that bartender that was slinging drinks. No. This is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the smug challenger, the smug winner, the woman who wants to have control. You should be troubled. You should be deeply troubled that someone is using emotions that have nothing to do with someone legally and lawfully carrying out the will and wishes of their constituents with what Alexandria Ocasio is putting out there. It's a dangerous path that she has put America on. It's a dangerous path that she wants our Congress to follow. And I, for one, would say, no, we won't go down that path. We don't agree with you. You haven't made your case. Give us the facts. Be precise. And be truthful. We don't care about your feelings. That's not what America is about. Not in Congress. But you may disagree. You may think that we have missed something here, that our facts are incorrect, or we've misunderstood the context. Please do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have found this to be informative or useful or interesting, please like, share, and most of all, subscribe so that more people will be able to see this and join us in our expression of free speech. We thank you, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon.